Hello, everyone, and welcome to the StreamKick Podcast. I'm your host, Camper, and tonight I'm joined by RoboKast, RoboKast, and Ace, the regular StreamKick Podcast crew, back for a change. Welcome, guys.
Man, I was expecting the weird ass intros, like, oh, here's the guy who sleeps with his blinds open. RoboKast.
I'm gonna save that. Use that one later. Why the country voice though? Just out of curiosity.
I really don't know. It just happens sometimes. I can't control it.
That was like scary country too.
Hey, man, I'm from a country little town, so yeah,
just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Something like I said, it just happens. It's in the air over here.
So I'm cruising through intros quick because what a week it's been, and it's Monday. I said what a weekend it's been, I guess. A lot of stuff has happened, and the biggest thing, and we're gonna jump right into this. The biggest thing that happened is Mixer's done. Mixer is kill. Can you believe it? I can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really though? Can you really believe it?
Yeah.
Man, you sent me that meme yesterday with the poking Mixer with the stick.
I forgot about that. I did. Yeah, I thought. I mean, I knew Mixer was in trouble, but like I didn't expect to just wake up and then just get a note in Slack, and it's like, oh, hey, Mixer's dead. Holy shit, guys! It's like, what? That can't be. And yeah, it can be, and it is. Yeah, Mixer's gone. Well, it's not gone. It's gonna be gone soon, to be absorbed by none other than Facebook Gaming.
Mark Zuckerberg
sucked up another one.
He's going to rule the world.
He's going to rule the world. He's trying to rule the streaming world. And listen, we talked a bunch on the show about how much Facebook gaming has grown relative to Mixer, but fuck that for a minute. Just in general, just how much Facebook gaming has grown. And it is absolutely bonkers. I know there's some debate, I guess, about, whether those like views and everything that they're counting are legitimate views or not. Honestly, I don't know, but I know there's a shit ton of people on Facebook, so those numbers are believable at the very least. But I wouldn't. I mean, whoever scripted 2020, when it came to like the live streaming side of things, was pretty tame up until about this weekend, and then things got nuts, and then this happened, and it wasn't just that Mixer's shutting its doors, but then it's like, oh yeah, and it's just going to become part of Facebook gaming. And it's weird, we're going to get into this too, and it's like Microsoft is essentially dismantling Mixer and keeping elements of it, the technology piece, which I find funny, but then it's taking arguably the coolest thing about Mixer, which is the community, and it's just giving that to Facebook. And it's like, here you go, Facebook, you take this, we'll keep all the technology, but you can have all the people. That'll be good.
All five of them. Wait, so are there numbers here? Like how much, like, did they sell it or are they just like handing it over? Because I'm not very in the loop with this. I see it all over Twitter, but like I said, nobody uses Mixer, so I don't really care. But how much money
they're calling
it for?
They're calling it a partnership. They're saying it wasn't an acquisition, it wasn't a merger, it's a partnership. So
oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder how that works.
Partnership is a broad way of saying it's whatever the fuck we want it to be.
I feel like Facebook definitely has a deeper, darker plan with this. I don't know what it is yet, but they're always scheming. Like, you remember that weird TV screen for your kitchen that they released? It's like, oh, we're gonna charge you $300 for a webcam. Video.
Yeah, it's Facebook Hub or Social Hub or something like that. Wasn't that what it was called?
I don't remember what it was called, but it was basically like a giant FaceTime only app. It was like a mix of Alexa and like video calling. And, so they released that like 2 years ago, right? And then now all of a sudden they're really pushing this whole like group Facebook Messenger video calls. So my point here is I think Facebook has a plan with everything. I think, for example, they released that weird tablet thing because they knew they were going to be working on group calls and they're going to try to sell it to everyone. And I think the same type of thing is going to go on here where people are going to be like, why Facebook? But I'm sure they have some sort of plan. They're probably going to release a game console or something. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, maybe I'm not remembering this right, but wasn't Facebook talking about doing some kind of like cloud gaming service or something like that? I mean, it feels like every tech company.
Yeah, and it's probably just going to be Candy Crush on every device. Woohoo!
But xCloud, though, I thought xCloud was Microsoft's thing.
Yeah, but I think that's what Facebook is adopting, or is that not what we're saying?
No, it's not. Well, so there's Project xCloud, which is an Xbox initiative, which is basically streaming Xbox games from the cloud. And that is part of this whole like scheme where, all right, let's back up. Let's maybe tell the story from the beginning, because this is there's a lot of pieces here. And as I was going through this, like I saw the story about, Mixer's gone, whatever. And then I'm like, okay, to Robo's point, like, all right, well, why Facebook though? Right? There's got to be more to it than that. And here's kind of what I think it is. But let's back up a little bit and let's talk about what Mixer says it is. So Mixer is saying that at the current pace that Microsoft and Xbox want viewership to scale, basically it can't do it. Mixer's not keeping up. Microsoft and Xbox are growing their ecosystems at a more substantial rate than Mixer is growing viewership for the streaming platform. And so this is just a very polite way of Microsoft and Xbox saying, listen, Mixer, we invited you to the party. You weren't the cool kid that we thought you were, so you need to fuck off and go to the party down the street, which happens to be at Mark Zuckerberg's house, right? More likely, though, Microsoft and Xbox realized that Facebook was generally just was just shitting on them from a streaming standpoint. We presented the stats to prove that. And they realized that they just make a lot more money off of doing what Microsoft and Xbox do than they do at Mixer. I don't think Mixer was making them any money whatsoever. So this is just kind of economics 101 here. It just isn't going to work all that great, or wasn't working all that great. But then they get into the Project xCloud thing. So in the Mixer story, there's a link that goes off to a Xbox post on Xbox.com about bringing more players into their quote unquote gaming vision, and that has to do with Project xCloud. And the idea here is that, at least as they've described it, imagine you're on Facebook, right? You probably do have to imagine, because you probably don't go on there. But imagine you're on Facebook, right? And you see or interact in some capacity with someone doing something video game related, and you're like, oh, I want to play that game. The grand vision here is that you'll be able to seamlessly go from Facebook into Project xCloud when you're already on your phone. So you just happen to have your Xbox wireless controller with you, because, I mean, we take that with us everywhere we go, right? So you just whip that out. Exactly. You just whip that out, and look at this. You're playing Gears of fucking War in Chipotle, waiting to order a burrito. Okay? And that's not annoying or obnoxious, is it?
No, dude.
And I think that's like the vision they had here is like, look, Mixer isn't going to get us there. But if we just dump all these people into Facebook that already have some kind of affinity for Microsoft and Xbox, it's like they're preceding Facebook for this Project xCloud thing. At least that's how I think they're trying to spin this. But I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
I think it's what you kind of touched on before, in that I think each is recognizing or acknowledging what they do best. And Facebook is more about community, which Mixer couldn't grow. And Microsoft and Xbox are more about gaming. So I think it's a great match. I mean, I honestly didn't see it coming. I didn't see this type of partnership, but I mean, I think the more I read about it, the more I think about it, it seems like it makes a lot of sense for both companies. So
pure brass tacks, you're like, this is it. This is how it's got to be.
What do you mean?
I mean, just from just a pure financial, who's better at what standpoint, this is just a better decision all around. Everyone was going to get to this point anyway.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's a financial, because I don't even know if there was a real winner in here outside of Ninja and was it Ninja and Shroud?
Yeah, Ninja and Shroud won big time.
Wait, what happened to them?
$30 million.
They got bought out.
Oh my God.
They refused to negotiate with Facebook, so Facebook had to buy out their contract.
Dude, that's smart though.
And think about that. Who's the company that represents them?
Loaded?
Yeah.
It's Loaded, right?
So that's a payday.
Loaded.
That's a payday
Loaded's
for those
pockets
guys.
are loaded.
Yeah, it's a payday for those guys. So anyway, my point is, I mean, I think it's. I don't know if anybody really, if there was really a financial transaction here, other than just a kind of an acknowledgement that the way that both companies want to grow in the future, there's definitely advantages in working together rather than against each other. So I think there's more advantages working together.
Specialization, right? Like I know you're always big on that, right?
Yeah.
Like do the thing you're good at.
Yeah,
and fuck
exactly.
off at the thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
I agree. That's good.
is it basically just the Mixer users are being migrated to like Facebook gaming, or like what exactly does Facebook get out of this? Like,
so, all right. So here that's a great kind of segue, right? So Mixer is going to transition everyone over to Facebook Game. Now, obviously, this is
everybody already has Facebook.
The Facebook Gaming.
Isn't that the same as normal Facebook? Because I thought all their stuff was intertwined.
Just hear me out, all right?
All right.
I'll explain it to you. So it's voluntary, of course, right? Like they can't just say, "Hey, we're going to transition you over." People are just like, "No, you're not," right? But the idea is that any Mixer partnered streamer is automatically a partnered Facebook gaming streamer. And then what Facebook is going to do, at least what they say they're going to do, is they're going to honor existing Mixer partnership contracts as best as they can. In other words, they're just going to make sure there's no conflicts of interest. It's not just doing this out of the goodness of their heart, right? They just don't want to get in the business of having to go through and trying to renegotiate, thousands of contracts on a one-off basis, right?
Yeah.
From a monetization standpoint, everyone who was monetized on Mixer is automatically eligible for monetization on Facebook. Facebook has an actual name for this thing. It's called the Level Up program. And Level Up program gets you the equivalent of like a subscription, like that you would get on any other streaming platform, and then the ability to monetize through like ads and stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyone who has the currency from what is it? From Mixer. So Embers and Sparks. That's the currency that they have. If they spend it in June, Mixer is going to match it dollar for dollar payout to the streamer. So if you do like a $5, whatever the equivalent of a $5 donation, Mixer is just going to throw in another $5.
Damn, that's actually pretty solid.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Sounds like a good way to launder money.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
You just donate it to a streamer this month, donate half the amount, get it doubled, and then you now have double the amount of legal money.
Yeah, that's pretty smart, actually. Hopefully, if anyone does do that, just please don't reference the show. Or if you do, just reference Robo. You want to plug your YouTube channel here?
Yeah, dude, if you guys are interested in money laundering tips and tricks, check out Ozark on Netflix.
Nice pivot. If you're stuck with currency at the end of the month, if you haven't given enough of it away and you still have some left, they're going to convert your currency into Xbox gift card credit, which is kind of cool too.
That's actually kind of cool.
So yeah, I mean, if you have an Xbox, that works out pretty good. Yeah. So to answer your question, that's what they're going to do. That's kind of the transition plan. But that's where, going back to what you said before, that's where Shroud and Ninja were just like, nope, not going to do it.
Well, like, I still don't understand what Facebook gets, though. So, like, how is this going to work? Are they going to, because, like, Mixer as a platform is going to be closing down.
Yes.
And, I mean, I don't think they're going to retain the user base. I think all the users are just going to go over to Twitch. So.
I mean, maybe, right?
Yeah.
It's the same argument that I think we've made at StreamKick too, is that you anytime you move or change anything as a content creator, you lose something. Like, you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
You've seen it because you've done multiple channels on YouTube and you don't have the same following across all your channels, right?
Plus, if you put in all this time to become a partner at Mixer, why just go to Twitch? You like you pointed out, you're just going to lose all that. You can become an instant partner and have an opportunity to monetize at Facebook.
But my question is this. I feel as if a lot of people who watch streams, I don't know numbers, maybe you guys do, but I feel like a lot of people are between the ages of like 16 to like mid 20s, right? I would assume
18 to 34, but yeah,
okay, close. Yeah. how many people in that age group actually use Facebook? That's my
I don't know how many.
question.
I mean, some like the usage there is way lower than it's going to be for like one more demographic up. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's just how Facebook is skewed. Yeah.
Facebook or
See,
Facebook gaming?
I think to me, people are going to see them as the same thing because I know I
see
do.
them as the same thing. Yeah.
And Facebook has such a bad reputation that I feel like this just isn't going to really do anything for them. Like everybody's acting like, oh, it's such a big deal. But realistically, I don't think anything is going to change at all.
Is anyone really saying it's a big deal for Facebook, though?
I mean, on Twitter, it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you to agree. I don't think it's a super big deal for Facebook, other than the fact that I think it's Facebook. Like think about like the order of operations here, right? So Mixer started giving Twitch the big, fuck you last year when they started stealing streamers, and that kind of kicked off this whole like streamer wars thing, right?
Yeah.
Facebook nabbed a few. They pulled a couple decent streamers off of Twitch, right? It really didn't. I think maybe a couple YouTube streamers. I don't know. But anyway, Facebook played this so smart though, because Mixer was really the one who invested all the dollars.
True.
Mixer was shelling out. I mean, now Facebook has too, but Mixer was shelling out big bucks to acquire these streamers, thinking like, oh, we get streamers, we get this big bump in viewers. And then eventually Mixer just kind of shit the bed, and Facebook was like, okay, well, can we just have all your stuff? And Mixer's like, sure.
Sure, Zuckerberg, you're a trustworthy guy. Here, take all my stuff.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, Facebook's just like, all right, I just envision like, at the end of like a really long poker match when that one like smarmy faced asshole wins and he just kind of puts his hands out and like grabs the pot,
grabs it all in.
Yeah, and he's just grinning the whole way. And that's kind of it, except like Facebook didn't have any skin in the game for this. They were just kind of like, here it is. We just acquired all this stuff. And yeah, they got to pay out Ninja and Shroud, but I mean, honestly, like
that's only $40 million.
Yeah, dude, that's pocket change for Facebook.
Yeah, I think that's StreamKick's advertising budget for 1 year. So
dude, we spend that in like a week on advertising.
Yeah,
that's our podcast budget.
Yeah, can't you tell?
How much do you think that intro song was, dude?
Let's talk about that intro song. I'm just kidding.
No, but I mean seriously, like imagine it from Ninja or Shroud or really any streamer. Like imagine Mixer paying streamers, expecting like long-term growth. Like these streamers are expecting long-term growth on this platform, and
which they weren't getting.
What?
Which they weren't getting. But
they weren't getting, yeah. But like expecting it, and then Mixer just dropping it because they don't want to deal with the legalities and the money it was going to cost. And like, I mean, there's so many people whose income they crushed and security they crushed, and like people, they don't know if they're going to be able to afford rent next month because Mixer's shitting them over. I don't know.
That's a good point. I mean, looking at it from and I think we should try to do that. We should try to get someone on the show in the next couple of weeks that's like going through the transition, just kind of understand what it's like. But I think you bring up a good point, and it's important to think about it from like all sides here. But like, if you are a Mixer streamer, like, what are you thinking right now? I mean, honestly, if you've lasted this long on Mixer, you have either you're incredibly fucking lazy, or you have just an insane amount of brand affinity for the Mixer brand, and you just believe that it's gonna be something, which now we all know it isn't. And what a tremendous fuck you when they're like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna send you to Facebook instead. Like, how do you feel as a Mixer streamer?
Yeah, but also, how do you feel as a Facebook streamer? That's another good question.
That is a good question. So you've got 2.8 million streamers. I'm looking at my stats here. You got 2.8 million streamers coming over to Facebook, and we know from Mixer stats that they're not bringing that many viewers with them, right? They're going to shed viewers just because it's a different platform. So they're already starting with fewer viewers, and now it's going to be cut even more. What does this say? What's the message that Facebook is giving, I guess is a better way to put it, to its own dedicated Facebook gaming streamers, those people who've given Facebook a chance? What do you think about that, Ace?
Yeah, man. I mean, it clearly wasn't ever about them. I don't think they were really considered here. I think this is like ideally from Facebook, like a long-term kind of idea, because pretty apparently to me, like short-term and just like in theory overall, it's a shitty idea for those streamers. But at the same time, for Facebook gaming and esports in general, I would almost argue, just because of the broad audience that Facebook has, and you have like this more diverse group of people on Facebook in terms of like age demographic and just maybe more eyes. And I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago how like seamlessly Facebook can advertise things, and when they make a big move like this, how good they are at putting it in front of people and like getting people to see it and getting people to notice it. So hopefully that will apply here, and they'll have some sort of ability to reach gamers and hopefully make a turn. But short term, it's just shit.
So, unrelated, or kind of related, on Twitter right now, I just saw this thing. It's on Twitter, so there's no telling how true it is. But apparently, it says Facebook's offering a one-time $2,500 signing bonus for Mixer partners who choose to move to Facebook gaming and stay for 90 days.
I mean, that's super smart if they're actually doing that.
If
That
that's
costs them
actually
nothing.
legit, that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, think
$2,500. That's a lot for people.
that could probably pay a couple months rent, if not more.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that essentially, if your rent is covered for a month or two, think about the kind of air cover that gives you as a streamer to just, to be flexible, try different things, to be creative, and just give Facebook an opportunity. Just give it a chance. If it's true. I haven't seen that yet, but that's interesting. I believe it. I could see that happening.
See, if that was true, I would almost argue that that would be better for some Twitch streamers because, and hear me out here, because I know a lot of Twitch streamers that got partnered on Facebook early, got partnered on Mixer early, back in its early days when they were throwing out Mixer partner pretty easily,
Yeah.
and then realized that Mixer was shit and switched over to Twitch. But now, maybe if there's some new benefits for them over on Facebook and they already have that Mixer partner status, this brings up some new opportunities for them.
I want to go. I agree. I want to go back to something you said a minute ago, which I think is really important. If you're streaming, okay, and your goal is to make this a career, or at least a career in the short term, right? I don't know. No one knows how long people can actually stream because the industry just started. But let's say that you want to do that. I mean, honestly, I know there's a lot of feel good talk and everything about like, oh, well, if you don't think about the money and blah blah blah. If you're trying to make this a career, bullshit. You have to think about the money, right? You have to. It's a career, and that's what careers do. When you think about monetization, who, if you take the current platforms, who is going to be better at monetization? Who do you think?
I mean,
I think Facebook. I think
100%.
Yeah.
100% Facebook, Twitch has proven that it can monetize, but it's not great at it. Okay. And it has a fundamental misunderstanding of how ads work in a streaming ecosystem. Okay. Facebook may or may not have that same problem. I don't know enough to say yet, but I do know this. Facebook knows how the fuck to get ads in front of people that should see the ads. Okay. What Twitch doesn't have is Twitch is not a native ad platform. They may tell you that they are, but they just fucking aren't. Because if you were to strip streaming away from Twitch, they can't sell ads anymore. If you take streaming away from Facebook, it's still Facebook. It still sells a fuck ton of ads every day. All right. It's what they're good at. So if you're a streamer and you're thinking about a career, Facebook ain't that bad.
Yeah. I think one thing, honestly, that we're not touching on enough here, I know Ari vaguely mentioned it, but the fact that honestly Mixer this is a really bad case of community mismanagement, because all these streamers are trusting this platform to help them build a career. They have a steady income, they have a stable situation. It may not be as big as Twitch, but I'm sure there's some successful people on Mixer, because if there wasn't, nobody would stream on there. But these people are comfortable, they have a career, and it's basically just like, hey, no announcement, no warning except for like a little bit, and then they're just like, fuck you, we are now going to close down your entire platform for making a career. It's like a company just saying, hey, we're going to close down and you're going to lose your job, but we're not going to warn you.
Well,
You didn't just happen to come from the.
That's like the real world, isn't it? Though. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of messed up if they knew this was coming, that they just kept this under the radar with no warning. Because think about all the
the
Mixer
deal would have blown up.
employees.
There's no way the deal would have gone through if they gave anybody a warning.
Well, which is better, to disappoint your entire community and make them lose all faith in you, or just to save a deal that wasn't worth money to begin with?
But they're offloading the community anyway.
Yeah, but
Like,
these people aren't going to go to Facebook.
Yeah, but Mixer doesn't care. I mean, bottom line, it's a business decision.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think business is important. Obviously, businesses are about making money. But at the same time, if you literally betray your entire community, you're not going to, it just doesn't look good. Because without your community, you're nothing. Like the small streamers are what kept Mixer going. Without streamers, Mixer is nothing. So to just say fuck you to all the streamers is, I think, ridiculous.
I think you fuck you to Mixer for a couple months now, to be honest. But
I just mean the people who stuck around, because they have this whole top heavy approach where, like, oh, instead of trying to support smaller streamers, we're just gonna recruit all these giant people like Ninja and Shroud and just hope it works out. Meanwhile, the people who are like trying to utilize this up and coming platform just got slapped in the face by Mixer.
I think you can make the argument that Mixer almost did its community a favor. I think Mixer was a dying, failing community, and at the end of the day, they gave an opportunity or provided for a way for them to join another community that's ultimately going to be successful and better than what they thought they were creating. And the other thing I'll say is I think if you take on the risk to join a Mixer versus a Twitch, I think inherently you should understand, with a growing platform, that there's more risks that something like this could happen.
I don't know. I agree, but I disagree, just because Twitch.
Well, you can't do that. You have to agree with everything.
Okay, I disagree then, because Twitch is a very
you can't do that either.
I can't disagree. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna leave now. No, but for real, Twitch is a very oversaturated platform. So I completely get these people who are joining Mixer to try to, be the PewDiePie of this new and upcoming platform, because all the biggest people are usually the ones who started from the beginning. So I totally get it, and I just think, a lot of people are going to be out of a job now, for something that could have easily been avoided if they would have just announced this earlier.
I don't think I could be totally wrong here, but I don't think they knew about this. Like, I think they were leaning in this direction, but like, didn't Mixer just announce this big thing with Fortnite, or with Ninja and Fortnite? Like this big, weren't we just talking about them doing this big weekly tournament on Mixer through Ninja?
Yeah,
a whole bunch.
Yeah,
of
that would only be on Ninja's channel or something.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like they were like, why would they announce that big thing and put a whole lot of money into that big thing if they were just planning on quitting a week from now? I think this was something that was going to happen, a month or two from now, and because of everything that's been happening, they're like, all right, we might as well just pull the plug now. But
I don't know. I just think it's a very bad business decision. I mean, not financially, but for your community, that is.
I think I see where you're coming from. I wonder though, like digging a little bit deeper, are you upset more so because they said, hey, we're going to offload you to Facebook? Like, would you feel less strongly about it if they said, hey, we're going to transition you guys over to Twitch? Same rules, same policies.
I would feel better about it, because like Twitch is already established. They're taking, so basically here's the way I will picture this in my brain. They're taking something that is somewhat established. Like, yeah, Mixer's struggling, but it was established. People had thousands of followers. They had their set fan base. People made accounts. People followed them. People donated, right? They were pretty established, and they had a good foundation for their career. Now, Facebook's just like, or Mixer's just like, okay, now we're going to send you to this new streaming platform that nobody uses. It may or may not work. And, hopefully it does. But if it doesn't, sorry, I guess you just aren't a streamer anymore.
Yeah, but you're wrong there. There's a fuck ton of people that use Facebook gaming, and it's growing like at a ridiculous clip.
I just see it this way, because I guess I see it different because I'm a creator. If YouTube, I know this would never happen, but if YouTube one day was just like, hey, your 360,000 subscribers that you worked so hard for, they're all gone now. We're going to throw them to a different channel. We're going to merge with Facebook. and now you have to upload videos on Facebook, and those subscribers that you grew for 5 years are now gone. So sorry. Like,
Well,
that's the way I
isn't
see
that
it.
exactly what YouTube did when they had YouTube Gaming separate from YouTube?
No, that was different. It wasn't actually like really separate. It was more or less like YouTube Gaming was a platform to like search by gaming content instead of separating
No.
them.
If you were a YouTuber and you wanted to do YouTube Gaming, you had to have a separate YouTube Gaming account.
Yeah,
You
but that
didn't
was
carry over.
optional. They didn't force you to.
But if you wanted, I thought if you wanted to be on YouTube Gaming though, that you had to have a YouTube Gaming specific account. Because
I
wasn't
mean,
that what a lot of YouTubers were bitching about?
maybe, but the difference here still stems down from the fact that Mixer did this involuntarily. Like, these people don't have a choice. Like with YouTube Gaming, it's like, oh, I could try YouTube Gaming if I want, but these people are like, yeah, all your followers, they're gone now.
Yeah, but to Rhino's point, couldn't Mixer have just said, you know what, this isn't working, peace out?
Yeah, they could have, and I think that would have actually been a better move if they did that like 3 months in advance. And they're like, hey, look, guys, like, we're gonna shut down. Like, look at Vine, for example. People were making hella money from Vine, and Vine closed down like pretty humbly. There wasn't a lot of like controversy when Vine shut down, even though a lot of people were out of income. But there's no backlash to MySpace shutting down, which isn't really the same because influencers weren't really a thing back then, thank God. I don't know. I'm getting off in like a tangent, but I don't know. I just think that it was kind of shitty the way they handled it. And a lot of my opinion comes from the fact that like I know a lot of streamers, and I keep seeing all these tweets on Twitter of these people who are like, like, damn, I'm out of a job now. And it just hits differently because of the fact that I make content.
I can see that. I can respect that. I also think that, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing, but I've been in this industry long enough to know that like anytime there is like a slight ripple, granted this is bigger than a ripple, but even when there's a slight ripple, the content creator community tends to blow shit out of proportion, right? And I'm not saying that you're doing that, but to be on Twitter before you've even done any of this, before you've even given Facebook a try, and just automatically just saying, oh yeah, I don't like Facebook, therefore I don't want to stream on Facebook Gaming. No problem. That is your choice, right? You have that choice. You don't have to do that. But Mixer and Facebook have essentially fucking given you the fast track to speeding things up, just, getting involved and skipping a lot of the bullshit that you would do if you just did this transition on yourself or by yourself. I mean, there's something to be said for that, I think. I mean, Mixer could have just said, hey, we're going to send you over to Facebook Gaming. They're just going to do whatever they want to do with you, which eventually they will, because these sweetheart deals that they've set up, they only last as long as the term on the contract. And then you're going to renegotiate. You're going to renegotiate with Facebook, not Mixer. But at least they have a grace period where they keep whatever arrangement they have with Mixer and they carry it through.
Well, right? That's with bigger people. I'm mainly referring to like smaller people who, because it's so hard to grow when you first start out. I don't care about Ninja. He's getting $50 million. Nobody cares. But like these smaller people who are, just finally at the point where they could make this their full-time job. Let's say they just quit their actual job and they start streaming on Mixer. Well, guess what? Now Mixer's gone. You're not going to retain all of your audience no matter where you go. So there you go. Now you're struggling. You quit your job, and we're in the middle of like a recession basically, so you can't get another job. I think, I don't know. I also think the timing was terrible with all the COVID stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah. Well, I think to Ace's point, I think they probably intended to do this. I wouldn't be surprised if they intended to do this months ago and put it off because of the COVID stuff, thinking like, okay, well, COVID happened, viewership should be up. Let's at least give it a couple months, see what happens, see how we make out from this. And then the data came back, like 3 weeks ago. And it turns out even when people are forced to stay home, they're still not watching Mixer, which I don't understand, because I mean, I wasn't a Mixer viewer, but I went to Mixer and I tried to watch streams on there, and it was fine. I had no problem with it.
It's really not that bad. I used to use it back like around E3 of last year because Mixer sponsored a lot at E3. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. So
I remember that. Yeah,
their platform wasn't bad. Like,
it was a beautiful platform.
But it's just a situation where like, look at what they're competing against. It's like somebody trying to start a new search engine in 2020 and be like, okay, we're gonna take down Google. It's just not gonna happen.
So DuckDuckGo, basically.
Yeah, but that's different because it occupies a specific niche. Like, oh, I don't like my data being everywhere, so I'm gonna see. Like, here's what I would say. It's equivalent to somebody trying to start a new YouTube platform. This like in today's times, it's just never gonna happen. It's
Yeah,
literally
why would you do that?
impossible.
Yeah, that's like Twitter. It's like it doesn't ever matter what happens to Twitter. It's never going to go away
Yeah,
because
because
it's never going to have a competitor.
Mhm.
It's an established thing now. It's always going to have a need. Like Twitter is so protected. It's not even funny. But I want to dig into something here that I think is really really important. In the release that Mixer did talking about this, or Microsoft, if you will, they said, quote, the innovative technology that powered the platform will stay with and live on across Microsoft. Okay. What they mean by that is, and this is just an example, Microsoft Teams, which is their Slack competitor, which apparently is, I've heard is doing well. I haven't used it. I've always been a Slack user, but I've heard from people who use Teams, they say it's actually pretty good and they have a lot of users. Microsoft Teams is going to use Mixer's faster than light technology for video streaming. I think that's
What's
smart.
that?
What's that?
What's faster than light technology?
So when Mixer first came around, when it was Beam, the thing that separated it primarily from Twitch was that they had invested heavily in their backend architecture to essentially create what they call ultra low latency. I forget what the term was they used for it, but they sort of branded it and called it FTL, or faster than light technology, which
Mhm.
made it so that any streamer on Mixer had what only the best or biggest streamers on Twitch would have access to, which is like virtually zero latency.
Oh, that's cool.
It was super cool, and it was super smart for Matt and James, I think his name, the two founders. It was really smart of them to do that, because what they did is they looked at what Twitch was doing and said, all right, we're gonna do a streaming platform. These guys were like 18 at the time, by the way. They said Twitch has got this great streaming platform. However, it was never built to be as big as it is, right? It has that classic startup problem where it got too big too fast and it needed to like go back and try and scale, which obviously it's done, but that's super hard to do. You get a lot of technical debt and whatnot. The Beam guy said, no, let's actually take all these little things that they did wrong that a larger platform would need at scale, and let's just build them from the very beginning and just have them. And one of those things that they did was what's called faster than light technology. And it took Twitch years to get to that point because they were dealing with old, dated, and just weighted down architecture. Well, Microsoft, when it acquired Beam and rebranded as Mixer, Microsoft, now that this happened, and I'm thinking through it and talking about it even more, I'm thinking like, did Microsoft ever intend to build a streaming community? Was that ever their intention? Because honestly, like, if you have the money and the resources that they do, I mean, I know they fucked up a lot of products, but if you have the money and resources that they do, and you have Xbox, which is not only a best-selling console, it's its own gaming ecosystem, how the fuck do you screw up a streaming platform? Unless you really just don't give a shit. And you say, hey, this whole thing is, let's just acquire this amazing technology. It happens to come with a streaming platform. Let's get to the point where this technology actually benefits us in other business units, and then let's offload the community. If
I
you
don't
look
think
at
so.
Twitch, which has said from the beginning, and I feel like there's a lot of truth to this, Twitch has always said like, hey, we're more about the community, because Twitch knows if the streamers leave, it's done. It doesn't have like cool technology to like fall back on, right? It doesn't have that. Whereas with Mixer had amazing tech. It had an amazing community. But does Microsoft really care about the community, honestly, like in the end? Because they're like, yeah, we're going to keep all this cool tech, but we're going to do nothing with the community. Are you telling me you can't transition that Mixer community in some capacity into the Xbox community? So to your point about dicking over the creators, to me, if I was a creator, that's what I would be pissed about. How did you fuck this up?
Honestly, I don't think I would say that they didn't have like a goal, because I think if that was the case, they wouldn't have went and paid all this money to Ninja and Shroud and all of them. I think they genuinely just died because of that approach. Like the whole top down approach isn't really the best thing, because what's going to happen is you're going to attract viewers who join Mixer to watch Ninja, and then leave when Ninja's done streaming for the day.
Which is exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what happened personally. I may be completely wrong, but I think they wanted to give it a shot. Instead of allocating their budget elsewhere, they just were like, oh, let's find the biggest people we can. And then eventually it just wasn't working, and they already spent all their money trying to acquire these people. And then they're just like, oh, whatever. Let's get rid of it while we're still ahead.
Yeah, I think I was going to add, my guess would be they found the shiny new thing to focus on. They acquired it. They created a business unit out of it. They said, go run with it. And then at some point, the higher ups came down and said, okay, explain to us the revenue model. How's it working out? What's your projections? And they were just
show us what we bought.
Yeah, show us what we bought.
3 years later.
We gave you 3 years to really run with this. Where are we today? And then after getting explained where they are, they were just like, we need to shut this shit down and keep what's working and get rid of what's not, and partner with somebody that we can kind of make this work in our favor for the future. That would be my guess.
Yeah, probably. And honestly, Camper, one thing that may have been true about what you said that I just thought of is maybe they didn't actually try. Maybe them getting big streamers, like, to play devil's advocate here, maybe them getting big streamers could have been their strategy to make it look like they tried. But realistically, like you said, maybe they didn't actually care.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I'm not trying to say that they didn't care. I'm just trying to say that to me it feels like on the surface, and I have no insight into this, but on the surface it feels like how could you not make this work in some capacity with given everything that you have? Like look at how much Twitch has struggled to get a gaming unit off the ground. Right? They bought Cursed. They had the Cursed client, which became the Twitch client, which nobody fucking used. And then they wanted to sell you games through it. And then no one wanted the games. And then they took away ad-free from, from Prime, Twitch Prime. And people said, no, let me keep ad-free, but you just keep all the free games you give me. They're like, I don't want the games. I just don't want to see ads, right? Look at how much trouble Twitch has had to get the gaming piece off the ground. And then you have Microsoft, who's got Xbox, which is just killing it. And they can't get the streaming piece off the ground. Like, I don't know. It just seems weird.
They still have the opportunity to like incorporate streaming into the Xbox Series X. Like as far as, because Mixer has been integrated on there for like 2 years now. So isn't it still up in the air? Like Facebook could be on Xbox Series X for streaming. Like, could we see replacement for Mixer on that next console? And maybe Microsoft will do so much better off of that than they would have on Mixer, but I don't know.
No, I think you're spot on. One of the stats they shared in the story was that there's on a monthly basis, not annual, monthly basis, over 700 million people either play, watch, or interact with a gaming group on Facebook. 700 million per month.
Crazy. I don't even know what the Facebook gaming
wild.
page looks like, honestly.
What's that?
I don't even know what the Facebook gaming page looks like. I haven't even.
Yeah, no one does. Yeah, it's I don't know. 700 million though. Play, watch, or interact with gaming. So if you're Mixer and you're looking at that, or if you're a Mixer streamer and you're moving over to this platform, and maybe you rethink now. Right? To Robo's point from before, maybe as a content creator, yeah, you're kind of peeved because you didn't get a heads up, but maybe now you're going to rethink it and look at this and say like, hey, I don't know, maybe this isn't that bad. 700 million people. I mean, Twitch doesn't have that, right? And these are people that are specifically interested in gaming, which is exactly what Twitch would have anyway. So why not? Maybe it's worth a shot. See what happens.
Will Facebook make the same stupid mistakes that Mixer did? Can they take a different approach and go bottom heavy, put some money into smaller streamers like we've been talking about, and maybe kind of try and make a different name for what they're doing, put some of their marketing towards some stuff that the community wants to see?
Dude, I think giving people $2,500 to come over is a great start.
Good start.
Yeah, that is a really good start. But I just hope Facebook doesn't mess it up, because Facebook's just a trash company. Like, how often do they act? As you can tell, I really don't like Facebook.
Not
But
like to
how
hear more
often
about
do they actually like pull through and do good things for the community? Do they ever do that? Have they ever done that?
I guess it depends on the community. I mean, I don't know. I don't pay that much attention to it, to be honest, but
This
I know
is
where
just
you're coming from.
a scheme to steal
Let's
more
just hope they don't
people's
mess it up.
attention. Could be.
Yeah. I have a question for you though, Robo. Like, this is kind of maybe a bit of a fringe theory here or whatever, but does this actually help YouTube? And what I mean by that is Twitch is kind of dealing with their own shit right now. And a lot of the Mixer community is on Mixer to not be on Twitch, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Mixer's gone. You've seen and heard from how we've talked about it today about how a lot of people feel about Facebook gaming just because it's affiliated with Facebook. So there's a lot of people that are just like, fuck that. I don't want to be involved with that. I feel like you had Facebook, which was kind of like, you know, the smelly kid in the room, right? And then you had Twitch on the other side, which was like, you know, had kind of been like this unpredictable, like chaotic asshole in the room. And Mixer was just kind of like the kid who was just like, yeah, you can hang out with me. It's cool. Right. Like, I don't have a lot of friends, but you can hang out with me and we'll chill and we'll have fun. And
Yeah.
then it's like, if those are your choices, you're like, yeah, Mixer's all right. I think I'll go with Mixer. But then you had YouTube on the other side of the room, which is just kind of a mix of everything, I guess. Well,
Yeah.
if you eliminate the cool kid that didn't have too many friends, but was really nice to people, and you've got the, you know, smelly kid in the one corner and the chaotic, you know, destructive personality asshole in the other corner. And then you got YouTube, which is just kind of like a roll of dice and see what happens. You going to just roll the dice and see what happens?
I feel like it could help YouTube if YouTube makes some changes, because I've streamed on YouTube a few times. It's not an enjoyable experience at all. It's not user friendly. I mean, actually, it's gotten better, but it's still not enjoyable. It's really annoying to like set it up. It's not easy to use. There's a huge learning curve. If they could change some things and make it a little more streamlined, and they could do it quickly, this is perfect, because right now these people, like you said, are deciding, do I go to Twitch, which is really hard to get discovered on? Do I go to Facebook, which is owned by a robot, or do I go to YouTube, which honestly, like, that sounds like the best option at this point. But like I said, the experience is so bad that I don't think people are gonna like it once they get there. You
Do
know,
you have to, if you're streaming on YouTube, do you still have to have like OBS or something like that, or does YouTube have like integrated like screen capture tech and stuff like that?
I believe you still have to have OBS. That's what I use. I think
Yeah.
that's what most people do. I think the issue from YouTube streaming kind of stems down to, like, here's what I would say. You know how with Twitch, you look at VODs and you're like, why would anybody watch this? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
VODs feel like an afterthought on Twitch, and streaming feels like an afterthought on YouTube. So if YouTube, honestly, if they would do something a little bit separate, like, you know, live.youtube.com, which hell, maybe a thing already for all I know, and had like a separate where people can make like little one-off pages for their account that didn't have all their videos listed on it as well, I think that could be a good option.
But aren't you describing YouTube gaming that went away?
I think that is what YouTube gaming was, wasn't it?
Pretty much. It was exactly what you described. And YouTube killed it. And a lot of YouTube streamers were like, this sucks. Like, we like that.
Yeah, YouTube gaming was good for streamers for it, but the thing about that is it's still mixed in videos. I think they need to draw more of a line, because, like, you know, if you go on my channel right now and I'm live streaming, you're going to see my 265 videos that I've posted, and then my one live stream like mixed in with all of it. And it just
that is
feels
true.
Weird. So if they separated that aspect, you could have the same channel, the same followers, but like, even if they added like a live tab to your channel overview, you could go click over there, see the live streams, or go back to videos and see the videos. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a lot of synergies between Amazon and Twitch? What prompted that acquisition way back, you know, a couple years back?
I don't know. I don't know that Amazon ever straight up came out and said like specifically why, other than probably just some corporate bullshit like there's synergy. So we're going to dump $1 billion into this platform. I think the idea is that Amazon at the time, it was 14? It was 2014. I think it's been like 6 years. At the time, Amazon was getting into like Prime Video, and they were getting into more of the streaming stuff, and they were already kind of working out like, okay, how do we get product into this medium, right? How do we integrate it more into this medium? They had Amazon Prime, so it made a lot of sense to integrate that. So I think the viewpoint from Amazon has always been it's a tool that they can leverage to be a catalyst for their other business units. They never bought I don't think, is my opinion, right? They never bought Twitch to make money from Twitch, the streaming platform. I think they bought Twitch because they saw it as a means to, number one, collect more data on people so that they know what to sell to people, right? And number two, to have another vehicle through which they could sell pre-existing products and services to a very targeted audience. That's what my take on it is.
Here's my prediction. You ready for this?
Oh,
hold on. Are you ready for this?
Recording this?
Because
hey, producers,
this is deep.
Call the producer.
All right, I'm about to clip this.
This is
Let's
deep.
clip it.
My prediction is that within 5 years, Facebook's going to continue to give Twitch a run for its money, and it's going to steal a lot of its viewership, and it's going to devalue Twitch to the point where Facebook's going to acquire Twitch.
That's a hot take.
Within 5 years.
Wow.
Within 5
That's
years.
a very hot take.
That's what I see.
Wow.
Twitch is going to, within 5 years, Twitch is going to throw up their arms. They're going to say, we've lost so much market share to Facebook. We're continuing to see our revenue go down. Let's take our money and run, and they're going to sell to Facebook.
Jeff Bezos sell something? I don't
know about that one. They have so much money to put into it, though.
I think
Here's my prediction.
Double prediction.
This is a double prediction, and this is the one that really matters. All right, you're going to be right, but you're only going to be right because you had the idea first. And Bezos, who's a big listener of the StreamKick podcast, heard what you just said, and he's calling someone right now to write this down on a piece of paper, and he's going to file it away.
It's possible.
Jeff is always listening.
Always listening. Actually, do you have an Alexa in your house? You do, don't you?
Oh, yeah, Jeff is definitely listening.
You just got fucking scammed. Bro. I like that. Ace, clip it. It's cover art. It's everything. The whole focus of the show now is Rhino's prediction. I love it.
Sounds good.
Well, we've talked for 50 minutes on this story. I think it warranted it though. This was just absolutely crazy and very fortuitous that it happened when it did, and we had a chance to cover this. But I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about one more thing tonight, and that is Valorant. Okay, I want to talk about this because Riot is doing something really cool with Valorant. Anybody that knows anything about streaming or esports, they know that Riot Games is pretty much the king of esports. They have done such a wonderful, say what you will about the dumb shit they've done. They have done such a wonderful job at turning League of Legends into kind of like this, taking it from like this little bush league, like amateur, backyard wrestling esport into like one of the premier esports in the world. And I don't care if you like esports or don't. If you watch a League event, whether you understand League even, doesn't even matter. If you watch a League event, that shit is engaging, right? It may not make you play League of Legends. You may not watch it again, but you're gonna enjoy what you watch. And that is to Riot's credit and to the people that Riot has brought in, and also to the fan base. This amazing fan base, fantastic orgs, just all around great. They've done a great job. So when they launched Valorant, everybody knew that it wasn't just going to be a game for a game's sake, especially because it's free, right? Valorant is free, isn't it? Yeah, right? Yeah, okay. Valorant's free. You knew there was going to be esport with it because it's Riot, okay? So this week, they announced that they're taking a major step forward to establish Valorant in the esports scene. So what exactly does that kind of break down to? What does that mean? The new series they're going to kick off is called the Ignition Series, okay? It's a partnership that Riot has established with over 20 different organizations. And we're not talking about just like esports orgs. We're talking about like just, organizations that are in streaming, in gaming, esports, that type of thing. And it's going to be a range of different types of events. So think about what League of Legends was in the early days when it wasn't like officially sanctioned per se. And you had, you know, DreamHack would do events, and IEM, Intel Extreme Masters, would do events, and all these other things. And all these things were super fun to watch. There was different rules. They invited different players. You had NA playing EU like just every other weekend. I mean, it's just this weird like hodgepodge and mix of events. Eventually, Riot moved away from it once they started establishing their own leagues and everything. But back then, in the heyday of League esports, you could catch almost every weekend there was something going on. It was really kind of cool the way they had this all set up. So what they're, and this is kind of following the same pattern. So what I think everyone thought would happen was they would take what Riot had done with League and just carbon copy it. And they said, no, we're actually going to carbon copy it, but like 5 years ago, carbon copy it. Do like the backyard wrestling version for Valorant and just see if this thing really takes off. And so I'm gonna say one more thing, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Ace because I know he's foaming at the mouth right now. He wants to talk about this so bad. But what I think is really cool is that Riot is essentially showing everyone that they have created the playbook for how to develop an esports title, for how to launch an esports title, and for how to immediately, within like a couple months, turn it into like get it on that path of like a grassroots like esports trajectory to turn it into like the next big thing. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to let Ace go. He's going to wipe all the froth off his mouth and just dive in and tell us all about how wrong I am and how right he is.
Yeah, man. I mean, first of all, I just want to touch on the game in general, like the game itself, because everybody loves this game, and it's not just for any reason. It's not just because it's the new game. It's because it's such a well-developed game, and the style of play that goes on with Valorant is so perfect for an esport, and such a perfect combination of every other esport that has succeeded. And I think Riot, like you said, developing a video game, took all of the good aspects of every good esport and put it together. And that's one reason so many people are switching over. But just like from an in-game perspective, the game allows for these crazy like individual showdowns as part of a much greater like team effort, kind of similar to what you would see in like baseball, how it comes down to like the pitcher and the batter as like
give me an example for people who don't play it or haven't seen it. What do you mean?
For baseball? I mean like
No.
example.
No, like in Valorant, like what do you mean? Like what? Like give me a scenario. Like how would that play out?
So it's a 5-on-5 sport, but the way that the maps are set up and the way that you have special abilities, um, it comes down, the different roles that the different players play comes down into these individual gunfights on different parts of the map. So you're seeing all of these teams that play different esports approach this game so differently with such a different strategy. And there's so many different, like it's such a strategy based game. For example, like in Valorant and CS:GO, shooting is more important, whereas in Overwatch and Fortnite, it's more tactical. But either way, it's a really strong combination of skill and strategy. Whereas like in more tactical shooters, a kill like a bullet or two will kill you, and it's less about this. And here, like each 5-person team has their own unique approach, attack, defense, and then each round everything changes. Each round their guns level up. Each round they have to learn more about their opponent and how their opponent is playing. And there's only so much that you can do to prepare for the game, but you have to adjust in game as it goes. And that's why it's so great and so interesting to watch, and so many people are watching it. And that's just one of the reasons why it's doing so well is the game itself, but also because of the ease of play. First of all, it is a smaller game. It doesn't take up a whole bunch of storage. It doesn't have high system requirements. You can play on like Rhino's computer, for instance, a Walmart laptop, um, and that
It's
means
still he's still on a gateway with the cow pattern on it. I'm pretty sure if anybody remembers.
and that means that anybody from anywhere with any financial background, well, not any, but for the most part, can play this game. Um, it's free as well, so that's something that they did well. Um, and then, so that's one thing, is the ease of access. It's backed by a crazy big company, Riot, who knows what they're doing. And then, like we talked about last week, competition is everything. The talent in this game already, all of these ex-pros switching over, and all of these people who are playing this now, the huge numbers of people that are playing it. Um, there's a lot of competition, and so it's going to make for a really, really good esport, and people driving from everywhere, and just like driving for top spots and top leagues. And they're like, they did it in such a good way with this release of like the esports plan. Like, what, they're spreading it over 20 different organizations, and they have funding backed by Red Bull, and it's all spread out. So it's not just all in one thing, but they're like organizing, because before they were going to take a quote unquote hands off approach, and they were going to let these organizations do it themselves. And now they're like, well, we're kind of going to do that, but we're going to give them a hand. So, I mean, sorry.
And they should. I mean, they should be doing that, because the organizations, like, I mean, they're great, and I think they'll do a good job. But I feel, and I know some people listening that can disagree with this, but I feel like Riot is going to be like, not even like the cherry on top, right? It's going to be like a more complete sundae, if you will, right? They're going to take something that's already pretty good, and they're just going to make it just better, just all around better. And I think it's great for the orgs, great for the game, great for the fans. Most importantly, it's awesome for streamers. It's awesome for content creators, just all around a better thing. And I think that is the thing that is most exciting to me about how this whole thing is shaking out, is it just went so fast. And if Riot can do this, and they're doing really well on their titles. Like, Teamfight Tactics is doing well. I don't know about Legends of Runeterra. I'm not even sure if it's fully released yet or whatever, but that game looks amazing, and it's going to give the trading card scene a run for its money. Hearthstone's kind of like meh at this point anyway, right? And then they do the Valorant thing. It's kind of like they're taking over and making competitive multiplayer esports or esports integrated titles. Just, they're stamping them out at this point, and they're good titles. They're not trash. So
yeah, for sure. And they have the audience, man, not just viewership, but people playing it. Like, Fortnite blew up with, I think it was 10 million players in the first 2 weeks of the release. Valorant had 3 million people a day in the beta, and they're not really seeing any concrete numbers now, but
and that was limited too. Like, the beta was not, it wasn't an open beta, it was a closed beta. So yeah, listen, I think this is good for everybody. I love what Riot's doing here. I mean, I'm a big League fan. I played League for years, and I thought it was great. And I just think they're doing a lot of really good stuff here. So I'm excited to see this thing take off. But we are at the 1 hour mark, so I want to say thanks, guys. I think this is probably the best one yet. This is probably the best StreamKick podcast we've ever done. What do you guys say?
Mixer for dying.
I think it was definitely in the top 7.
Top 7. Soon to be top 8.
Yeah.
This was awesome. And for all you folks tuning in, we really appreciate you guys. Something you can do while you're here and you've made it this far is ratings and reviews help a ton. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, definitely take a minute if you can, drop us a rating, drop us a review, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. It just helps us improve the show. It helps more people find the show. And here at StreamKick, we're all about discovery. Also, if you want to take a look at our at the podcast over on Podchaser, these guys have done a really good job. I don't know if you've ever checked out Podchaser before, if any of you guys have even seen it, but it's basically they build themselves as like the IMDb of podcasts. They've built a remarkable platform. It really is just a great platform. Wonderful place to discover new shows. Really cool stuff to do if you're a listener. Great things to do if you're a podcast creator. But anyway, if you guys have a minute, We'd love it if you could just stop by Podchaser, search for StreamKick Podcast, drop us a rating and review there. It really, really helps get more exposure for the show, helps us keep putting out great content. In terms of social, where you can find us on Twitter and Instagram, it's very easy. We are at StreamKick Pod, P-O-D. On the web, streamkick.com, and on Facebook, watch StreamKick or our Facebook group, the Streamer Basecamp. And that said, RoboKast, where can people find you, man?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at RoboKast, RoboKast, and you can also find me on YouTube, same name. I'm also writing articles on Medium, a lot of like YouTube advice related stuff. So just search me on Medium. My name is Tanner Pappy, TANNER PAPY. That's my username over on there.
Nice. And Ace, what about you? Where can I find you, man?
As always, find me on Twitter at Ace Aspires.
Ace Aspires. Yes, he does. And one quick thing I figured we would share while we're here is I think we're gonna start streaming. I think we're gonna start doing a game night, right? Isn't that what we talked about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So probably this week or next week. I don't know. We'll keep you posted. Check us out on social. We'll definitely post something up there before we do it, so you know what's coming. But we're gonna hang out. We're gonna play some stuff. Play some different games. Probably some Warzone, maybe some Civ, maybe some Rust. Definitely some Minecraft. Who the hell knows? Just whatever we feel like playing at the time. And we are probably not going to be on Mixer. That's all I know at this point.
Hey, man.
Now might be the time for Mixer. I don't know.
Yeah, now everybody's leaving, right? Now's the time to get on. This could honestly be this next month could honestly be the best content Mixer has ever
That's
seen.
what I'm saying. It's going to be the time to watch Mixer. Everybody's going to be doing whatever the fuck they want.
It's like someone announced the end of the world and there's no repercussions. Like, all right, what do you do? Oh, all right, everybody. Take care. Have a great week. We'll catch you next week.